Hello, welcome back to my channel, Divine Libra Wisdom. I'm back again with a check-in reading. Switching it up a bit. It's going to be monthly now from this going forward, as opposed to weekly. I feel like this will better help me to stay on track, as opposed to trying to get something out every week for the month, or for the signs Cancer, Taurus, and Libra. But nonetheless, you will have this going forward. It'll be every month as opposed to weekly. The rest of the signs will be under the community tab, and theirs will be a bit shorter. But if I see, I'm going to do it by element, the monthly readings, and whoever gets the most votes, or not most votes, most views, they will get a bonus type reading, kind of like this. Okay. So yeah, won't go into a whole bunch of specifics, but you'll see how I go, what I do going forward, as we go along. Yeah. So to kind of get my disclaimers out of the way, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. If you are returning to the channel, I thank you so much as well. As you follow along, and y'all have to bear with me, it's Mercury retrograde, so my communication may be a little off. I may seem a little loopy, because yeah, I'm here. I'm serious. No, for real. Things are good. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm in a playful mood, so I made my words and the way that I'm talking, it may be a little whimsical and kind of funny and silly. So just bear with me, right? But yeah, if you're new to the channel, like I said, thank you so much for tuning in. I do greatly appreciate it, especially for those who do take time to, watch and still rock with me, even if I go, some periods where I don't post anything. So greatly appreciate those who take time to watch, right? If you're returning to the channel, again, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. As you follow along, listen along, make sure you are liking the video. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section, whatever you choose to, whatever you like. Just make sure that it's respectful. I don't want any weird stuff in my comment section. I will delete them. So yeah. If you know anyone who has these placements, or who just enjoys tarot, send it their way. And yeah, do all the things. Subscribe. The decks that I'm using, they will be in the description box below. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so by looking in the description box and figuring out or seeing how to go about doing that. I won't solicit you for readings, so if someone is acting like that or acting as me, that is not me. I will not ever reach out to anybody to get a reading or to do a reading for them. I just won't do that. So the only way that you can book a personal reading with me is if you email me. I see it, and which I should, but yeah, and we go from there, and I charge. So so yeah, but I think going forward, I'm thinking about how to do some giveaways and do some free readings, just to show some appreciation for those who do, like I said, take the time out to watch the videos. But yeah, you guys, anything that comes up like that, it'll be announced under my community tab, so you'll see. Yeah. As far as noise is concerned, I will try to keep it to a minimum. It should be fairly quiet here. Shouldn't have any issues with that, but you may hear my AC in the background because I have to have air. Got to have the air, so, because it's pretty hot. Yeah, it's almost 90 degrees out, so and yes, I do have my hoodie on because it is cold in here, but that's because I got the AC cranking. Okay. But yeah. If I forgot to mention anything, just apply it. So yeah, the way that I'm going to do this going forward, since it's going to be monthly, the 3 cards, your three tarot, it will be start of the month, mid-month, end of the month. You'll have 2 oracles, and I will get an affirmation card for you. Okay. And always, as always, rather, I will get some channel messages for you as well. So this is going to be for Libra, and it's going to be for the month of July. Yes, we are 12 days in, or yeah, you know what I mean. We're 12 days in the month of July. But if anything comes up that feels like past energy that you need to be aware of, I will mention it. And I'm going to get some channel messages for you, Libra, my fellow Libras, and see what we need, see what's going on. Okay. Don't know why I'm seeing the words red zone, so I don't know what that's about, but I don't know. Makes me think of like fire trucks, don't park in the red zone, or you know. So yeah, don't, you know, if you, hopefully none of y'all are just parking in the red zone like that, you know. And hopefully that doesn't mean like, you know, accident or anything, but just be, you know, be careful, because especially with it being Mercury retrograde, things can be, communication can be kind of weird and wonky and stuff. So electrical things have a tendency to malfunction as well. So just kind of be, you know, on your P's and Q's. You know, don't try to rush anything. If you're someone who's driving, just be kind of mindful, you know, of how you're driving. Be mindful of others. Yeah. I heard the words toodaloo. I don't know why that's making me laugh, but yeah, some Libras, y'all may be like, dude, I'm ready to get the heck. I'm ready to get out of here. Like yeah. I get in the sense that you all want to get away for a little bit. Really getting strongly that you're planning trips or want to plan a trip, just to kind of get out and about, change your scenery. And I feel like this energy is kind of carrying over from a couple of previous readings that I did, but it's the energy that's coming up for me. So if it comes up, I'm gonna say it. But yeah, the words toodaloo, you know, I'm out of here. You know, it's almost like I gave it my best shot. I'm not feeling this anymore. You know, whatever the case may be, whether this be a job, whether this just be, you know, you just need a break. It could be one of those things like, and if I'm also seeing like parents, even though school kind of is about to get ready to start back up pretty soon, like in August or whatnot. For most people, I think for most people across the country, school typically starts back in August or September, one of those. But I just see parents. I see parents, you know, maybe wanting to leave, you know, their kids with grandparents or aunts and uncles, just to be able to kind of go and take a little quick trip or something like that. And you know, it could be a case where some of you really truly do need a break, whether you have kids or not. You know, you could just be like, yeah, I need a break. I'm tired of dealing with stuff, and I need a break from it all. So do that. You know, if you have the means, you have the time, definitely don't hold back. Take a much needed break if you need to. Also hearing the words hydrate. So if you need to up your water intake, go ahead and hydrate. Literally. Can't be out here all dry heaving and stuff and dry. coughing and stuff. Can't because you because you parched. Y'all don't mind me. I'm just in a playful mood right now. I don't know. It's a very strange because with Cancer's reading, it was kind of like a nonchalant, kind of like kind of meh kind of feeling. But with Libras, I'm feeling it's like a playful mood. So yeah, I don't really necessarily feel like you all Libras are in a bad mood necessarily. I kind of feel like you all just kind of like, you're just kind of like whatever, you know. I want to go have some fun. I want to get away. I need a break. More so, I just need a break. You just want to, you know, you're tired of, it could be like feeling overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, with your responsibilities, things you have to do. You kind of want to be able to put the responsibilities on pause and just go have some fun. So totally understand that. Definitely feel that energy. I don't think I have anything else for my Libras. Sorry, I have to put on some chapstick. Lips is kind of, while I'm up here talking about people being dry and not hydrated. How about I hydrate my lips? Yeah. Don't think I'm getting anything else. I'm making sure. What else does Libra need to know, if anything? Heard the words just here. I'm gonna flip the cards over and kind of get into those, but heard the word strike gold. So I don't know what that means, but maybe, hey, strike gold, maybe I don't know, strike gold makes me think of like going to the casino or something. So that may be in the cards for you guys, you know, taking a trip to the casino or, you know, something like that. But whatever the case, you know, whatever floats your boat as far as, you know, the types of trips that you want to take, go do that. You know, do what your heart tells you, you know, do your thing. And it could even be, you know, a thing where, you know, you want to, the change in scenery or the change in routine. You know, you may do something outside of your comfort zone. You know, if you do take a trip, maybe it's like a solo trip as opposed to, you know, always taking like a family trip or going with someone, and you're going somewhere new and, you know, giving yourself a chance to experience something on your own, and you're able to do exactly what it is that you want to do. So, you know, if it is the case of, you know, going at something alone just to kind of get that sense of autonomy and, you know, not having to consider anybody else, definitely do that, especially if you're, you know, used to always having to consider someone else. And you typically, Libras are, you know, that type, like they will, and of course speaking from personal experience, right now, you're used to kind of people pleasing, used to kind of considering everyone and kind of holding yourself back, you know, to make to appease others, you know, just to make sure everybody else is having a good time and all that good stuff, you know. And that's cool, but at the same time, you know, you want to not forget yourself, right? All right. Okay. So the first card that we have out is the Wheel. This is delays are over, sudden or unexpected good luck, a new car, or travel. And what did I mention? Wanting to take a trip. So we got the Wheel here. I'm very much focused on the delays being over. So if some of you at the start of the month, you know, there could have been delays on something. There could have been some sudden or unexpected luck, situations where you lucked out in, especially if you thought it was gonna be this one way, or one type of outcome, but it turned out to be entirely different. Like it turned out to be for the better too. So, you know, all I can say is count your blessings, right? Especially when, especially when you're thinking the worst, you know, and it turns out to be good. It's like, woo, let me accept this blessing, because I definitely had a feeling it was gonna be something different, but it turned out to be great. Also, a new car or travel. So yeah, if there's a trip that you want to take, if there's something that you want to do, don't hold back, don't be afraid, go do it. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. Keep your budget in mind. If you have a budget, just focus on having fun. You know what I mean? Focus on doing exactly what it is that you want to do, right? Yeah. I feel like, especially for some people, if they get this feeling of, oh my God, what if I go somewhere and I get in trouble, or what if this and happen? It's just kind of like you having all these scenarios in your head. Again, speaking not to make it anecdotal, but in the past, and even this is still something that I struggle with sometimes too, is thinking of all these scenarios of what could go wrong, and it's just like, none of that has to happen. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you just plan your trip and and expect it to go well? You know what I mean? Put the energy out there to where everything turns out the best, the best possible outcome, the best way that you want it to turn out. You know what I mean? So yeah, when people and I mention this, I talk about this all the time, but when you're constantly focusing on what could go wrong, that makes something actually go wrong. You know what I mean? So try to, sorry y'all, I'm just trying to get in my eye, but try to focus on what could go right, and especially when you made concrete plans, you planned things out, you covered all your bases, then nothing should go wrong. So yeah, focus on it. Focus more so on what could go right as opposed to what could go wrong, because yeah, if you're steady focusing on that, then just prepare for something to go wrong because you're putting that energy out there. And I'm sorry, let's see here, the wheel, one second here. So with the Chariot, that's Cancer for one. I don't think the Wheel Tarot card is necessarily associated with a sign, but we'll see. But, well, it is. Okay, yeah. So it says the card, it's like a four-winged creature on there, typically on the original tarot for the Wheel of Fortune or the Wheel. And all four elements are represented there. So with the Taurus, this is the Bull, Earth, Leo, the Lion, Fire, Scorpio, the Eagle, Water, and Aquarius, the Angel, Air. So yeah, you could be dealing with all four signs, four of those signs. So that's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. With the Chariot, that is Cancer. And you have one card down here that is Leo. So Leo twice. So that all those signs can be significant for you all. The numbers that could be significant for you are 10 and 7. Cancer had the number 7 twice, I believe, that it came up over there in Cancer's reading. So, hey, you know, could be some cross watching going on there, or you know, you just may have both placements like I do. And yeah, you know, if you feel compelled or called to go watch Cancer's reading, if you have both placements, Libra and Cancer, definitely go look at Cancer's reading. There could be a message in there for you. Okay. But getting back to the reading, we have the Chariot, and to me, the Chariot also represents, for me, it represents travel for me. But usually when I see the Chariot, to me, it always makes me think of short distance traveling though. The Wheel, I feel like it would be more so longer distance traveling, but so it could be either or for you guys. And this is not something that is, you know, a fact or anything, or you know, anything like that. But for me, I'm just going by what I read and what I feel. The Wheel, to me, it represents kind of like a longer experience. I mean, a longer period of time, because the wheel is ever flowing, it's ever rolling, since it's a wheel. So it's constantly spinning. It doesn't stop. So that's what makes me think of, you know, going an extended period of time. The Chariot, I feel like, you know, you go from point A to point B. So shorter distance traveling. But anyway, it says success that comes from dedication and self-discipline, celebrating your accomplishments, and being in the spotlight. So it could be a situation where by mid-month, you know, if you do decide to travel or to go do something different, do something that's outside of your comfort zone, it could put you in the spotlight. It could make you you could be recognized, you know, in a way. You know, people could be noticing you for your dedication, your hard work, for things that you're doing. It could be you could start being known for your philosophies, you know, schools of thought, or what you think. So if you've been thinking about, you know, writing more, definitely do that. If you've been thinking about you know, just putting yourself out there, you know, definitely don't hesitate to do that, because it could bring you success. It could bring you accomplishments, right? So, you know, focus on that. Okay. Let's see here. And you have 5 of Spring, and this this makes me think, even though it's saying opposing goals, this kind of feels kind of like a type thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be, even though this looks like these two are opposing each other, like it's kind of like a tug of war type thing. I still feel like the playful energy there. So this could be the energy that I was feeling necessary from being kind of like, ooh, somebody has a zoomies, or someone is like, I get the sense that Libras, yeah, you all are kind of like, yeah, that's where I go back to, like, maybe having to take a break to go travel and do something and get out of your comfort zone, because there may be some overwhelm there. But also I get because they're smiling on here, kind of. Yeah, like the little fairy kid here. You see his little grin. Yeah. So I feel like, you know, even though it's a tug of war that they're doing, since it says opposing goals arising from differing opinions, I still feel a playfulness there. So it could be a situation where, if you do have, say for instance, if this is work related, right? And you and whoever you're working with, you have opposing views, but it's also kind of like a playful competition too. I'm kind of seeing that, where, you know, it's kind of like, well, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna see who comes up with a better solution or the better product or something like that, to that effect. And it's all in good fun, just as long as it remains that way. I think that things will turn out great, right? I think that, you know, by the end of everything, whatever the best outcome that comes from that, it will happen. You'll have that success that comes from the dedication. So as long as you stand disciplined, um, you're holding your vision, because you have that hold your vision down here, and don't let pride get in your way also. um, I think as long as you kind of are cognizant of that, cautious of that, or both parties, whoever it is, if this, like I said, if this is a work situation, um, which I'm kind of leaning more towards, because that's what it seems like. um, just make sure you keep the fun in it, you know what I'm saying, like the playfulness, um, the end goal of which is to make the best possible product or get the best possible result at the end of the thing, at the end, at the end of things. Okay, but let's continue. So yeah, it says opposing goals arising from differing opinions, feeling at odds with yourself or others, overly ambitious people. So yeah, that right there. Because I will say this, yeah, this fairy kid has a grin on their face. They're having fun. But this one over here kind of looks like face is a little contorted almost. Kind of looks kind of like or not intimidated, but what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a look of like desperation, almost determination to get the thing, whatever they're playing with there. So yeah, just just kind of remind. Sometimes you may have to. It may be a thing where you have to remind the other person, like, yes, even though we're having like a friendly competition, like, the end result is still, let's have fun with this. Let's create something that is a benefit to everyone, right? Like it doesn't have to be like we're at odds with each other, right? So, we, at the end of the day, when it comes to something that has to do with work, that's work related, the end goal should be, I know sometimes it's not always, but it should be that we reach a general consensus where we're like, yeah, we're doing everything for the greater good. So, that's how I feel about that, of course. So, yeah, if someone else is like, because I don't necessarily feel like this is necessarily Libra's energy. I really feel like you all are kind of like just, taking things in stride and just kind of having fun with things. You all kind of have that playful energy, but you may have people around you, whether it be at work, whether it be, friend groups, whatever. If there is like this kind of like competition or, a thing where you're creating something and it's a group of people, someone may be taking it to the max, like, and it's just kind of like, okay, calm down. You know what I'm saying? It's not that deep. It's not that serious, So, it could be a situation where you have to remind that person, or they need to be reminded that, this is, even though, we're having fun, it's a little fun competition. Like, it doesn't have to really necessarily be a competition. There's room for everyone to be seen. There's room for everyone to, be complimented, all those things. Also saying, like, with a group chat, this is, something like that where, there's this one or two people who make everything a competition, and it's just kind of like, you're not gonna unalive because the attention is not on you, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, really. So, if it's like something like that, just sometimes people have to be reminded, like, I didn't know this was a competition, or I didn't know this is that deep for you. It's really not that deep, you know what I'm saying? Especially if it's something that's not hurting you or hurting anyone else, like, let's keep it light, let's keep it fun, let's just have a good old time, and then, everybody go off and do their thing. So, yeah. That's literally what I'm getting, though. But nonetheless, let's keep moving forward. You have the card here, Hold Your Vision, and this is Fixed Moon. Funny enough, the Wheel of Fortune card, or the wheel, the zodiac signs that are on there are fixed signs. So definitely another indication that you're dealing with the fixed signs of the zodiac. So this is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And that's represented by all four elements, Libra. So yeah. But yeah, I really feel like Libras, I do feel like for the most part, you all are holding your vision. You all do have a good sense of what really matters. And you're not this type of person where you'll let pride get in your way, because that's what this card is about. Don't let pride get in your way. And this is full moon in Leo. Yeah, I feel like for the most part, I feel like Libra, like I said, you have this kind of childlike, kind of innocent, playful approach to things this month anyway. But people around you may not be feeling that way. There may be people kind of acting weird towards you as far as like being competitive, and some of you, if you're highly intuitive, you could be picking up on that energy, and it's kind of like, like why this energy, why that energy, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna remove myself, or or I'm just, because it's when things become like strictly competitive, I feel, and it's not balanced, especially for a Libra. We will kindly, swiftly, expeditiously remove ourselves, right? We will remove ourselves because it's no longer fun. You know what I mean? It's no longer fun. It's just, it's just kind of like, this stuff it's not that deep. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. So when things start to get like, people get like ego based and too much in their ego, it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm good. So if that is the case, which, and I'm pretty confident that it is, kind of dealing with something like that myself, but nonetheless, this is what I'm picking up in the cards. But if just, you have to take things as it resonates. It's not going to be for every single person in the collective, of course. So if it's not for you, just let it fly, but if it is for you, leave a comment in the comment section, let me know how it resonated. But yeah, to close this out, yeah, just just continue, going the way that you're wanting to go. When things don't feel right, whether it be like a group of people, whether it be at work, with friends, with family, whatever, if things don't feel right, if the energy is not right in certain situations, definitely remove yourself. Like you don't have to deal with shit you don't want to deal with, just point blank period. So if that's the case, then yeah, keep it pushing. So hopefully that resonated, Libras. I hope that you all have a good rest of your month. I know we're 12 days in, and so this is kind of late going up, but at the same time, you know how it is. But yeah, if I really truly do hope that you all have a good rest of the month. And I know for most Libras, our birthdays are in September and October, so that could be the trip that you're preparing to take coming up, so, and this for me, this will be a milestone birthday, so I'm definitely going to try to do it big for my birthday, of course. So yeah, I won't be able to actually travel on or be in the spot that I want to go to for my birthday, but I'm going to have a nice dinner on my birthday, and I plan to go somewhere that's, for one, it's going to be a place that I have been before, But I just didn't get a chance to kind of like go out and explore. So yeah. So if you can kind of relate to that, um, this is a sign. This is your sign to do it big for your birthday, especially if it's a milestone birthday. But yeah. And so for your affirmation, before I forget that, your affirmation, which I think is so good for this month and just for Libras in general, especially given the energy that is in these cards. Your affirmation is, I am always evolving. Okay. Again, that is, I am always evolving. So yeah, Libras, if there's anything that you want to do that's outside of your comfort zone, something that you've been wanting to do but just hadn't had the chance to do it, you haven't been given the opportunity, now is the chance. You have the opportunity. Is coming up. It will be successful. Hold your vision. Think about what goes right instead of what goes wrong, and you will be good. Okay. All right. So that was your reading. Like I said, I hope you have a good rest of your month for the month of July, and I will see you in a pick a power reading, or I will see you next month, for your monthly check-in, not weekly check-ins anymore. All right. So have a good day. Bye.